Good evening and welcome to the broadcast of the Enid City Commission meeting. Broadcasting live in high definition from the council chambers at the City Administration Building located at 401 West Owen K. Garriott. Please stay tuned as Mayor Bill Shuey presides over the meeting.
Call the meeting to order. Aaron and Ben are absent this evening. The rest of us are present. Our invocation this evening will be given by Noah Bailey. Bailey is with the Enid Reformed CNA. Help me.
Enid Reformed Church.
Okay. Noah, thank you for being here. And Tammy, how would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Sure.
After the invocation.
Let's pray together.
Thank you.
Our Father in heaven, we thank you for this beautiful day you've made and for the good work you've given to these wise men and women that you have raised up. We give you thanks for the leaders that you've established. We give you thanks for the city we enjoy. We give you thanks for the grace and the peace and the unity that is here. We pray that it would abound, that it would increase. That, Father, you would be merciful tonight, giving wisdom and discernment to these, our leaders. That they would do what is right and just and good. That they would bring peace and prosperity to the city. That your name would be praised and that your people would rejoice. Oh God, bless this night, that it would bring you glory and us much joy. For these things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3, we just did. Item 4, consider approval of minutes of the regular commission meeting of January the 5th, 2016.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ron,
Second.
second by David. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-0. Under item 5, awards, presentations, proclamations, and organizational business. Item 5.1, present the pet available for adoption at the city animal shelter. Get out your adoption forms.
Well, tonight we have a mixed Australian Shepherd. He's about 5 weeks old. It's a male. He's really, really cute. And we have named him Tank. And he'll be up for adoption at the City Animal Shelter, 1200 block of South 10th. So if anybody wants him, here he is.
Does he
Thank you.
bite?
Is he alone? Does he have a brother or sister or anything? It's just him?
Just him. Just him.
You ought to have that. That looks like your kind of dog right there.
It's a cutie.
That's as small as that dog will ever be.
That's true.
Item 6, under hearings, there are none. Under 7, community development, there are none. Item 8, administration. Item 8.1, consider the proposed location for the planned equalization storage reservoir for Caw Lake raw water. Take any necessary action. Project number is W-1412. Chris.
Thank you, sir. What we're here this evening is to talk about site location for 2 items. One of them, which is the first one, is the equalization storage. As you'll recall, we had this discussion. Terminal storage is broken down into 2 segments, equalization and emergency. Equalization is how we optimize the pipeline and the pumps. The emergency storage is going to be where we store our water in the event we have an issue with the pipeline. and we're going to try to separate those two. It does two things for us. It allows us to maintain the security of the equalization storage, which is where most of the water will flow through most of the time, and it'll allow a little more access to the emergency storage. We've picked the location, an optimized location that we're recommending this evening for the equalization storage. It was basically a function of the design constraints we had, roughly how much property would we need, whereabouts is the best place to put it in terms of optimizing it from an engineering perspective, and where can we get that into the plant easiest. And what we really need is we really need to know where this particular piece of storage and the water plant are going to be located, so we can begin our hydraulic analysis on the pipeline. We are not ready to recommend a location for emergency storage. Got a few more things I need to iron out on that before I'm ready to come forward. The site we are selected is up here on Chestnut on the west side of town. It's in close proximity to our Plant 2, that's existing plant. And it's our recommendation that you approve this location and allow us to begin acquisition planning for the property. Any questions?
What have your discussions been with the base?
We have had numerous discussions with the base. We've discussed this with Flight Safety on a number of occasions. They have been invited to most of our program reviews. Once we started talking equalization and terminal storage, they've been invited, and they have attended. And we've taken a lot of their comments into consideration, particularly on the equalization storage. And what we found is if you make this an engineered structure, rectangular and ugly, steep banked, some riprap maybe on the banks, make it unattractive for waterfowl, and put a high fence around it where you can use some bird deterrent stuff, it generally doesn't raise their eyebrows.
It doesn't what?
Doesn't cause them any concerns.
Yeah, Mayor, I could just tell you, I've had some conversations with Colonel Quinn recently, just to ensure that there's no issues. And I think because of just what you said, this is an engineered structure, fence, not intended to be, we don't want people, we don't want animals around it, and I think that we're good with that. Colonel Quinn, would you concur?
Yeah, I would say this particular location and the design of the equalization storage has a minimal impact. Anytime you do anything that will attract birds, it has an impact. Anytime you put a tower in that we have to fly around, it has an impact. Put in residential housing, it has an impact, but you can mitigate it through multiple ways. The design of this storage mitigates the attractant to waterfowl. Additionally, it's located in one of the higher areas of our pattern where we're flying higher above the ground, so minimal concern.
Is that in the landing pattern as opposed to the takeoff pattern?
It would depend on the runway. If we're landing to the south, it is in the landing pattern. If we are landing to the north, we don't generally fly over that area. We will turn prior to getting it. We basically stay south of Garriott if we're taking off to the north.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve this location.
Second.
Motion by Ron, second by Tammy. Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-0. Item 8.2, consider the location of the planned water treatment plant to treat raw water from Call Lake, project number W-1412, and take any necessary action. Chris.
Thank you, sir. This is the water treatment plant, the new one that we're going to build to treat the raw water, coming from CAW, based on a lot of the same design constraints, with the additional factor that we were looking for some place where it would be readily accessible for us to integrate this particular treatment plant in with the existing infrastructure. As you know, as we've discussed, we're talking about having a well-filled and surface water blend, and this provides us a place where we could do that relatively effectively. And once again, siting this location is really critical to us starting our hydraulic. Oddly enough, it's in the same place.
Same circle.
And it's our recommendation that you approve this location and allow us to continue or to begin acquisition of property, or at least the acquisition planning of the property.
Is that mostly at ground level, the treatment facility?
It won't be real high. It'll be a two-story, I'm expecting it to be about a two-story structure in some places, but most of it will be one story or less.
This is not land we already own, is that right? Because it's right next to the other sewer treatment.
The other water
water
treatment
treatment.
plant. This is not property we already own. If I'm in this area, it works well for me.
Where's the water treatment plant in relationship to that? It's
The
that
water treatment
spot
plant is
there in
right
the
here.
park? Okay. And would we be acquiring enough land to put other buildings out there if we wanted to? Research facility or something else? Are you planning on buying enough to?
Hadn't really figured that into our design constraints. It's always a possibility.
Where is the equalization storage facility? To the north?
Well, somewhere within this circle as well, ideally behind these two, if we put our new plant here, we'd put equalization right behind it. To the south, excuse me.
Gravity flow?
Yes.
Move approval.
Second. Motion by David, second by Ron. Further discussion. Please cast your vote.
Thank you.
Motion carries 5-0. Item 3. Consider an ordinance amending the Enid Municipal Code 2014, creating Section 2-6F-14 entitled Sidewalk Development Fee, to provide a fee that may be paid in lieu of constructing a sidewalk in certain situations, amending Section 7-1-6 entitled Sidewalk Partnership Program, to expand the program to allow funding for new sidewalks and to prohibit use of funds for certain properties, amending Section 10-6-1 entitled Sidewalks Required, any longer and I won't even be able to be heard, to add exemptions from agriculturally zoned land and accessory buildings, and to provide for a fee in lieu of construction in certain situations, providing for repealer, savings clause, severability, and codification.
Make a motion that we're going to table this to next meeting.
Second.
Motion by Rodney to table, second by David.
I don't know if we can we,
Point of order, we have several here to speak tonight.
I thought maybe we might be able to answer their questions if I could just tell them that they're going to like our changes and we just have to rewrite it.
Tonight, even if we table it? Well, I know we have some here that want to discuss the commercial side
Okay.
as opposed to the residential side. But if they're here
Since we
tonight, I
can't-
think
Since we
they ought-
can't respond, though, when they speak, should we, like, explain it first so that they kind of know where we're going with it? So, 'cause they may not want to speak after we talk about it. I mean, I think we should kind of, like, explain why we're tabling it and what the,
What we're changing is not gonna impact him, so we probably need to hear from Mr. Northcutt tonight,
Okay.
because
okay. I mean, I don't know, I mean,
You're
because
talking about the
people get up
commercial.
and they talk and then we can't respond and then everybody's kind of not knowing what's happening, so.
since it will be tabled and we're gonna work on it for the next 2 weeks, it might be a good idea at least hear what they think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just, and then we can weigh that into our,
since they're here,
because since they're here, sure, I'm all in favor. It's your call.
we're gonna listen to them.
Let's do it.
I just thought maybe we would kind of talk about what we were thinking about.
First one to sign up, Floyd Emery. Floyd?
Sounds good.
Floyd?
You may speak. We need your name and your address, please. And please speak into the mic.
Basically, I was here a few months ago about this basic same thing. I want to thank Mr. Gilbert for getting most of the water leaks fixed. I've got a new list for him. But the main reason is a sidewalk issue. I've got a daughter that was in a wreck 21 years ago and broke her neck. She's a quadriplegic in a nursing home. And you've probably driving around town seen 15, 20 different people in their wheelchairs in the middle, on the side of the road going to where they need to go because they don't have any other mobility. We need safe sidewalks in Enid for the handicapped and normal pedestrians that have to walk. And on the east side, the sidewalks are cracked and broken, grass is growing up in them. Just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, and I've got copies made that I'll give to Mr. Gilbert later on. This is an indication of the streets that I would like to have good sidewalks on so that people won't have to go more than a quarter of a mile to get to a good sidewalk to walk on or to be on a wheelchair. And it's really what I plan on doing in this issue is go to all the nursing homes and schools and let the supervisors see my idea, and maybe they will back me up on the issue, because it's dangerous walking in the middle of the road. And like when I was here before, I'd like to challenge everybody that works for the city of Enid, Garfield County, or state of Oklahoma that lives in Enid to get in a wheelchair and go 2 miles in any direction and see how safe they feel. It's scary as all get out, I'm sure. But like I said, I've got information, and I'll give copies to Mr. Gilbert to pass around to interested people. And I know it's not a fast thing. It'll take a few years, and hopefully it can get started on. I mean, the thing is, every street light in Enid needs to have walk lights. Where my daughter was at up at Highland Park Manor, she's now moved over to the new Garland nursing home. But the two main north and south Cleveland at Van Buren stoplights, in between, no safe way for handicap or anybody else to walk across the street because there's no walk lights anywhere. In downtown, there's a lot of walk lights, but you go out these other stoplights, very few of them have a safe walk light. There are miles along OK Garriott that have no walkways that people, you gotta dodge traffic because there's no place safely to walk across the street. You take your life in your hand every day. And on a side note, when I was here before, I didn't know I was being filmed. I did see myself on television by just accidentally. And one of the things, please turn up the volume on these so people out here can hear what you're saying, because I've got a constant noise in my ear like frying bacon. It goes up and down, and most of your voices are very soft, but if you turn the mics up, then other people can hear you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Floyd. And on that note, we do have our mics turned up. I think we just need to practice talking into the mic, so we'll try to do that better for you.
Next person signed up is Kevin Curtright. Kevin, speak into the mic, please.
The mic. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Need your address, please.
1814 Quellwood Drive, Enid, Oklahoma.
Thank you.
Wasn't really planning on speaking when I got here this evening. I was just going to come and listen and see what was going on. I'm sorry y'all are tabling, and I'm not going to get to hear what y'all are going to do. But I'm approaching the sidewalks from a commercial business standpoint, not from a residential. The commercial side of it where I'm at, we're in the process of doing a remodel. We're spending quite a bit of money to get it done, and it got popped up on me 2 weeks ago by my architect that we're in the process, I guess, of being told that we have to put sidewalks in front of our dealership and I guess down the divided road. I own both pieces of property, and they've got a sidewalk plan to go north into the retention pond, and then of course my property in the front, which is 240 feet. Estimated cost just for the front is going to run around $13,000–14,000 for just the front. And that's if we don't have to do any other work to the ditches, which if you've been by our property, and I know I've talked to several people that are here tonight already about all this, but it gets to be quite expensive. It's the property running north on my land with the easement area is probably roughly 500 to 600 feet. So we're looking at $30,000 in concrete that goes absolutely no place. The hotel to the west of me will never put a concrete sidewalk in. I'm not against sidewalks for wheelchairs, by the way. I think residential and all that, as new development starts, I think is a good place to start with getting sidewalks implemented. But I think trying to piecemeal it into the city at this point is going to make it look quite chaotic. I've went by and looked at the ones that have had to put sidewalks in so far, and one of them is a car wash that he literally tore up his asphalt to put a concrete sidewalk through his asphalt going in front of his property. I have the wonderful thing of being next to the retention pond for all the water that flows from the residential area and all that north of me. They have the pump back behind my dealership that pumps all the water between me and the Holiday Inn. And when it rains and it fills up and it starts pumping water, it flows a lot of water through there. All the water goes into the front of my dealership, into my ditch, and the two big culverts carry everything under O&K Garriott across. It takes it all the way down into Meadow Lake. If you've never seen it when it's rained and it's raining hard, there's no place that a sidewalk's even going to be visible. It will be underwater. And the retention area to the west of us that runs north and south, most of the time it has standing water in it. I'm not sure how you even get a sidewalk to go there. I guess my point that I'm making, and I'll be brief, is the Holiday Inn next to me, based on the way the rules are written now at the 680 feet, I don't know when they'll ever tear their building down to add on or add an additional space, so there will never be a sidewalk there. So my sidewalk's going to go to nothing. And I own the property to the east, which is a used car lot. So there's no reason for me to put a sidewalk in over there. I would be happy at some point in time if everybody at the same time wanted to put sidewalks in. But I think to do it at this point in time, running north and south, particularly for my property, it's kind of an unnecessary expense. Like I said, in the front, I would not have a problem with it if I thought that it was going to benefit somebody. Nobody walks down O&K Garriott. And to go down O&K Garriott is not safe with the semis and everything anyway. And I think for the years to come, based upon the way it is now, again, I don't know what you all have in mind or what's coming up, and it may not be for commercial at all, but it's going to look like a jigsaw puzzle, and I'll be dead before it's ever all completed. I mean, this would definitely be a 100-year project before everybody would ever be on board with the sidewalk unless there was some kind of a penny sales tax or something to fund sidewalks for all of Enid. But I can understand new developments, residential. I surely understand that any new development going in would need sidewalks. I don't have a problem with that. I think that's a good thing. And I think the same thing for commercial. If there's a big commercial shopping center or something going in, it's going to have multiple stores and all that. I think that's the time to do that. But to come back on businesses just because my dealership was built back in 1974. I've owned it for 20 years. I've waited this long to where I could get enough money together to try to remodel it, make, on my part, of beautification to Enid look good. And my dealership will be stunning when it's done. It'll look really nice. It'll be a good addition to the city of Enid. But I just think piecemealing here and there is a little bit, I just don't know it's going to look that attractive when you're going down the street and you see a sidewalk here and then you go another half mile and you see a sidewalk there, and none of them are going to connect. And I don't know how you ever get them connected. Anyway, I thank you for letting me come up here and speak my mind.
Kevin.
Yep.
You want to repeat your motion?
Make a motion, we table this to next meeting while Andrew can rewrite our ordinance we discussed in down below. And I think most people in the city will like the changes we're going to make. If you didn't know them, watch TV and see what we've talked about.
David, did you second it?
Yes, sir.
Motion is second. Any further comments? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-0. Item 9, consent items.
Move approval.
A motion by David,
Second.
second by Ron. Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-0. Item 10, we'll now recess to convene as the Enid Municipal Authority. Item 11, all The trustees at the municipal authority regular meeting are in attendance except for Ben and Aaron. They're absent. Item 12, the Enid Municipal Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 12.1, consider resolution increasing the 2015-2016 fiscal financial plan for the Enid Municipal Authority in the amount of $100,000. Aaron?
Move approval. Second.
I have a motion by David, second by Rodney. Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-0. Item 12.2, consider the award and execution of a contract for brush and limb removal with Carril's Painting, Enid, Oklahoma.
Move approval.
Motion by David,
Second.
second by Rodney. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-0. Item 12.3, approval of claims in the amount of $440,598.54.
Move approval.
Motion by David,
Second.
second by Tammy. You're asleep over there, Rodney. Please cast your vote.
It's over his limit.
I was say that's way over his limit.
Motion carries 5-0. That's the way we have to have fun. Item 13, we will now adjourn to convene as the Enid Economic Development Authority. Item 14, trustees of the Enid Economic Development Authority regular meeting are all present except for Ben and Aaron. Item 15, the Enid Economic Development Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 15.1, approval of claims in the amount of $53,152.81.
Move approval.
Motion by David,
Second.
second by Ron. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-0. Item 16, we will now adjourn to convene as the Enid Public Transportation Authority. Item 17, all of the trustees of the Enid Public Transportation Authority regular meeting are in attendance except for Aaron and Ben. Item 18, Enid Public Transportation Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 18.1, approval of claims in the amount of $1,207.31.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Rodney,
Second.
second by Tammy. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-0. Item 19, we'll adjourn to convene as the Enid City Commission. Item 20, consider the award and execution of a contract for brush and limb removable with Carril's Painting, Enid, Oklahoma.
Move approval.
Motion by David,
Second.
second by Rodney. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-0. Item 21, under public discussion. First one is Brian Carr. Brian is not here this evening. Second one is Diane. Please state your name and,
He must have stepped out.
Who?
So he's not
he
coming
did, okay.
Yeah, at home I was told that I should speak into this. Whoever thought this was a good idea. I don't know. We're at different heights. Okay, I'm Diane Levesque, live at 1324 West Oak. And I'm afraid your city attorney made the baggage necessary. And with regard to this good gentleman here who also had a show and tell, I would strongly suggest that the commission consider some way for the public in public comments to be able to present to the commission for public record whatever diagrams or what have you. I was told by the city attorney that I needed to make copies for all of you. So that's probably what happened with, anyway, that contractor who was up here trying to come up with a stack of FEMA flood studies and had to bring up a stack with a copy for each one of you. Now, in this day and age of economy of supplies and electronics, I would think that one set would be loaded on a server so that you all can do that. And I swear, I did this in the name of trying to keep this down to 3 minutes. Because if I don't have to go through this, I can go through this probably less than 3 minutes. Now, the points I want to cover are this. I do have to walk back some of the stuff I said last time, like, for example, I was worried that the school bond was not covering math and science adequately, and that does impact Enid's future prosperity in terms of workforce. It has come to light that there may be a state penny tax that will cover what the Enid bond does not. So I may have to walk back my objection to that, but I still underscore that math and science is critical to city engineering as well as a well-trained workforce. It doesn't put the burden on Autry Tech to do remedial work in training a workforce for whatever industry wants to move in here and do good business. They want good workers who are qualified. And I'm afraid a background in arts isn't going to do that. Okay, in researching things further, there's this other point about how the Enid High University Center came from savings realized from other bond projects, which puts the school issue squarely on the doorstep of the city commission, because we don't know. I got that information from this, and one of these discs has the data with the clipping and the portions highlighted on it. And without being able to submit that to the commission, I have to say, hey, you know, I'm not making this up. This was in February 16th, 2014 issue, which had a lot of other illuminating things besides that. But I'm wondering about the savings realized from other bond projects. I'm sure you all patting yourself on the back that you came under budget
That's
for a
3
lot of
minutes,
this
Mr.
stuff.
Mayor.
Go ahead and wrap it up.
Okay. I'm wondering about the voters who are watching also, whether the voters were able to vote on the approval of using all those bonds surplus for the purpose of building the university center. And let's see,
It's not
I'm
city business.
going fast as I can.
Diane, we're not allowed to ask questions, but
I know.
keep moving, please.
I am. I now have a brain freeze. Thank you. Let's see. Where was I? Yes. As far as bonds are concerned, there are added donors: Continental Resources, Advance, Klondike, Security National Bank, Parrish Enterprises, Northcutt, Lou and Myra Ward kicking in $3.4 million into what is also in this project already an expansion realized in the city schools. And like I says, it looks like it came from city funding rather than being voted on as a school bond. And there's a correction that the newspaper needs to make but hasn't, and that is it published twice. At the end of the project, the new bond is supposed to be part 2 of a 2-part. And in this issue, on page A6, Amber Fitzgerald is quoted as saying that the final report for the first bond issue, construction, was filed in April of 2014, and that means final. There is no anything. And there were 3 schools already in the second phase, and I'm trying to find that. I'm nervous as anything. Please bear with me. Glenwood, Coolidge, and Hoover were already in phase 2, so the newspaper needs to print a correction for either this article or the 2 articles they published recently on that. And finally, I do not want to leave this without giving a salute to somebody who is an Iraq veteran, somebody that this commission wanted to fire, a member of the 158th Artillery Unit of the 45th Fire Brigade. He was a major in 2008, and it was in the 2008 paper that I discovered that you were you were dispatched to Iraq, so that makes you an Iraq veteran.
Thank
So,
you,
in
Diane. I appreciate your
closing,
comments.
I have a salute for you, sir.
Thank you very much.
More than well deserved, and as for the rest of you looting the other bond issues, wherever they may be, I say salute with the emphasis on loot.
Since we are not allowed to respond and only our city manager and our city attorney are allowed to respond, would one of you please describe to the public the difference between the city commission and the school board, being that they are two entirely separate forms of government and we don't have anything to do with school issues?
I would love to.
Thank you.
Everything that Diane just talked about was school bonds, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the government or the city of Enid. Any complaints about the bonds or any issues that may come up or questions that may arise about where the money was spent or even, you know, the bonds or how they were paid should probably be addressed to the school board and not to the city commission of the city of Enid.
Item 22. Do what?
There's Brian, Mr. Carr came in.
You're close, but make it short. Brian Carr, name, address.
Hey, Byron, I got a question for you. Were you watching on TV so you knew just when to show up, or? Okay.
Rain stopped me. I'm Brian Carr. Sorry I'm late. 2604 East Randolph. Last time I was here, I said that I was going to come at a different angle, and I still am. Dissatisfied the way the city's been run. As you know, I've been having a lot of problems with the DA's office and the Enid Police Department. So I'm here to make a difference. I don't want to do what I'm going to do, but I don't see no other choice. But I'm gonna wait till next week. I hope I can, basically, I just wanna go in the room and settle this matter. It's when people like me do something wrong, we have to pay. But when the district attorney's office and the Enid Police Department do something wrong, they want it to be water under the bridge and nothing's done. They want us to go to federal court. Well, these lawyers want $10,000 and $20,000 for me to file. I don't have that kind of money. So I said, well, I'll just take the shortcut. I'm gonna wait till next Wednesday. If I don't hear from anyone, I'm gonna go to Oklahoma City and I'm gonna go to the feds. And I'm gonna ask them to step in and do what needs to be done. And basically, I'm gonna draw attention so people all around the state can know what's going on here. Basically, less than 30 days ago, the DA's office and the Enid Police Department had a bogus charge on me, and they was gonna make me go in front of an all-white jury. Well, you know how some of that outcome comes here. Well, a person walked into Judge Laddick's office and told him if the DA's office and him didn't drop that charge, he was gonna call the feds. Everybody knew it was a bogus charge. Well, they decided to drop that charge. Well, they just wanted to be water under the bridge. Now I got another charge. The Enid Police Department sent one of their officers out on one of my jobs to arrest one of my hands. And I just told the officer, you know, why don't you let the man work? I'll turn him in after this and I'll pay the fine that he has. Well, that officer went yelling and screaming at me, and I basically just told him, take that gun and badge off and set up on top of that hood and talk to me like that again. And he just told me it don't work like that. I said, no, it don't work like that because guys like you all over the United States are killing blacks like me. And then the district attorney's office will basically support it. Go bury me and let him go. Well,
Mr. Mayor, that's 3 minutes.
Go ahead and wrap it up.
So basically, I turned around to walk away, and he shot me in my backside. And basically told me he wanted to be my friend, but
he gonna let the courts handle it. Well, they took me from Judge Laddick and put me in front of Newby. I trust Newby, but I'm not gonna go, and I'm going in front of an all-white jury, but I'm gonna have the attention of the state. Well, I hope that we can solve this without all that, and we can. Just give me a call.
Thank you. Item 22, consider convening into executive session pursuant to 25 Oklahoma Statute 307B3 to discuss the purchase of real property and pursuant to 25 Oklahoma Statute 307C10 to discuss matters pertaining to economic development because an executive session is necessary to protect the confidentiality of the business and to reconvene into regular session to take any necessary action.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Rodney, second by Tammy. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 4-1.
Thank you for joining us for the Enid City Commission meeting. If you have any questions or comments, visit our website at enid.org.